It's the Wolf Media Festival podcast. And now, here's your hosts, Richard Wilmore and Jacquelynn Wolfheart.
Jacquelynn, episode 3, is it 3 is the lucky number? Is it 3 strikes you're out? What is this?
I hope it's the last, and then I'll do a recap, maybe like pull all the just the actual bits of advice versus storytelling and put that in a 4th video, maybe if I'm not too lazy.
I don't know. Maybe that's just the season. But I think we're going to get through it today, everyone, on our series of what to do and what not to do when you run a media festival.
I want to say, though, I don't think I've said this or made this clear. You don't have to actually buy somebody else's festival. You could just make your own. And I did not know that. I did not know that when I went into this. You could literally just go and make your own.
Well, that was going to be my last question for
sorry,
you.
just kidding.
No. But let's put it as the first one. In hindsight, if you had to go back and do it all, what would you do? Just start your own?
I honestly think I would, because the perks of having the longevity and the history of our festival did not aid us at all. I'd say the only thing that doesn't really help us, but is maybe more attractive to festival submitters, is that we are IMDb verified, which you can't get if you're a new festival. You have to be, I can't remember, like at least 6 years old, I think, to be IMDb verified.
Oh.
That is the only thing that I think has been like a cool thing for us, but it doesn't like actually help us. It's just good for the winners. So yeah. I would start from scratch. I would not start with debt. I would just start with my own vision, trying not to like incorporate my vision into somebody else's vision. You know, it was a lot. I think I could have saved a lot more money had I started on my own. So start your own.
Okay. There. Well, that could be the episode. We're done, everyone. Thank you.
And that's it. The end.
The end. In the last 2 episodes about this, I set the timer for 30 minutes because we can talk a lot. So we're going to do that again. Are you ready?
I'm ready if you're ready.
This is, again, where we need and last we spoke. A little recap. Last time on Blossom. Yes, on a very special episode of Blossom. Okay, so we've talked about a lot of things: buying it, planning it, categories. Now planning. I think we're up to the weekend celebration piece is what we're going to talk about in this one, right?
Yep.
Okay, so my first question is, or my first statement is that this year you had planned it on Easter weekend, big holiday weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Their festival's annual happened to be mid-February. I don't really celebrate Easter, so I didn't think about it being Easter weekend. Again, that was also happened to be 420 weekend, which I don't partake in that either. Again, I'm not anti any of those. I'm not anti-Easter. I'm not anti-420. I just don't, those aren't my things. So I didn't think about that. When I picked the date, I was just like, I think their history started on 420, I'm pretty sure. And so when we happened to have that as a weekend date, I was like, this is kismet. This is meant to be. We're
crazy that no one's doing anything.
Yeah, we got so lucky. That's the only weekend open in April in all the locations. Like, this is crazy. It was meant to be. And yeah, I guess it was meant to be something.
Okay. So looking ahead to 2026, let's talk about what we've learned just specifically from that weekend. Do you think that was one of the reasons why? Because I feel like I want to talk about ticket sales, because I was going to ask like if that's why ticket sales were low, but I know at one point they were not low and that they were actually really high. Is that part of the reason why maybe people weren't showing up? Do you think?
Yeah, so our ticket sales were not our ticket sales were not anywhere near what our goal was, but so our tickets were also buy one, get kids come free if an adult purchases. So technically you could say we were at least double what our ticket sales were. And by the end of it, we had between sales, which was a little over, well, almost 900. It was like 880 something tickets sold. So potentially 1,600 people. And then we gave away another 100. So we had over 900 tickets, almost 1,000 tickets purchased and given away to people. And we had like 3 people show up. So not really, but it was very closer to 3 than in the hundreds. Yeah, so I think it being Easter weekend was a big part of it. I'm going to hope. We also had some protests going on from Moms for Liberty. Was anti our festival.
Were they there? Because I didn't see them.
There was somebody who had a booth at our festival that I did not know. I don't think she was actually protesting, though. I mean, she obviously wasn't trying to waste her time with our lack of people, but we had somebody that I did not know have a booth there, and they were not on hotel property. They were not allowed on hotel property, not per our rules. We weren't allowed to make that, but per hotel rules, they were not allowed on the property. And in advance, we also had a lot of online, mainly Facebook that I'm aware of, and a little bit of Reddit that I've heard a lot of protesting online ahead of time, mainly Moms for Liberty. So thanks, Moms for Liberty, for supporting moms. It's awesome.
Thanks. Okay. So can we talk about the original vision for that weekend as far as like events, things to do? Like what was the original idea or theme for the weekend?
The theme for the weekend was all the cool things, I guess. As I mentioned before, I had worked at festivals behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, and I kind of not festivals, conventions. So there's not usually film screenings at conventions. But being at conventions, I kind of picked a lot of really cool things that I thought take place, and then a lot of cool things that I always wish took place at conventions. And then I mixed that in with our film screenings, and that was what the vision was to happen. So we had live performances. We were supposed to have stand-up comedians come in. We were supposed to have poetry readings because we do have winning poets, along with our literature categories. What's the word I'm looking for? An improv session was supposed to take place. Man, my brain isn't working. I apologize. What are panels and things along those lines were supposed to take place. We had a photography room set up that was we weren't allowed to bring a lot of the props that we made. So our photography room, while I do think it was cooler than most celebrity photography rooms, it was very childlike maybe, which was not our goal, obviously, but a lot of our props we weren't allowed to bring into the hotel, and we didn't know that. I mean, simple things like dressers and mirrors and things like that, we weren't allowed to bring in. So that made us have to last minute try to rearrange and make. But anyways, so we were trying to make a cooler photography area that people can just do when there's not celebrities in there, and then also better, cooler photos with your celebrity. I don't think that panned out at all, and that was a lot of money to put into that. We had so many things. It was just we had a game room. It turned mostly into an arts and craft room though, because there wasn't enough people to challenge each other on the games. But our festival was supposed to take games. We did not get any game submissions, but we did find other award-winning games that were new, and we brought those in, and we were supposed to have tournaments and things along those lines. Never actually got to have that. We did have a video game tournament with our celebrities. So kids got to play video games versus our celebrities on the last day. But it was fun. So we just had like a vision for all the cool things, nonstop stuff to do. workshops. We had lots of workshops planned, live podcastings planned, and in addition to film screenings, and only some of those played out.
So was there, I'm curious, like as it got closer or as you were planning it, if it ended up expanding into more things to do, like, oh, we should also have this, or maybe like if, you got like the excitement of like people are here or are coming and I want more stuff, or were there ever, as ticket sales weren't as high as you wanted them to be, was there ever maybe we should pull out on some of this stuff?
So a little bit no than that. So there was pulling out on stuff, but that was because lack of time. We had the rooms 24 hours a day, but did we want to have staff there 24 hours a day, that kind of stuff. So it was lack of time to actually pull all the things off. And I'm not sure if I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but festivals in general make 90% of their profit, as I'm told, the weekend of their festival. So we had 900-ish tickets sold. We were expecting a lot more sales to come in over the weekend. So we thought we would be packed. And I was actually worried that we didn't have enough things to entertain everybody. That our film screening rooms, we had 2 small film screening rooms and then a big room that did a few screenings with panels to go with them. And I was worried our film screening rooms were going to be too tiny even if only the people who bought tickets ahead of time showed up, our film screening rooms were too small. They held 40 people, I think, in each of them. And just so many films to screen. So yeah, it was mostly just me thinking there's not enough time and that we are going to sell more tickets the weekend of, per what everybody has told me. We're going to be crazy busy that weekend.
It seemed to me like when I arrived there and was looking around that like no matter where you turned, there was something to do. And sometimes I didn't know what it was. And sometimes I didn't know like and then like it was like a little maze where you'd turn a corner and open a door and you're like, oh my gosh, a screening. Like it felt like there was a lot happening where you almost didn't know where to go and where the focus should be.
Yeah. So my plan with some of that too was, as I started focusing more on, we're having children's authors and children related things going on, that I need to like redirect a lot of things towards kids. So I was moving things around, and I would say one of the worst things that I did, best thing somebody else could do, is make proper signage, and not just on the doors, but signs pointing, this is going that way, this is going to this thing at this time. We just had on our website a schedule, and we had supposedly people supposed to be guiding people to places. I don't think that actually ever took place. And then big shout out to Savannah, who worked at the hotel. She made electronic signs. On each room, the Hilton had electronic screens or whatever. I don't know why my brain is so broken today. Electronic screens, and she went through and programmed everything in there. So it was changing, telling you what it was in as much as she could write. So it will just say something like game tournament 5 to 6 o'clock, right? So it didn't actually give all the details, but I bet that took her like 4 to 6 hours to do all that programming. There was so much stuff, minute by minute changes. But we had no signs guiding people,
right,
and nobody actually telling people, yeah, this is where you go for this thing. And I would say, do that. Make sure you have that. If you have more than a film screening going on or more than one room screening going on, have signs and people explaining to people what's happening.
Yeah, I got a lot of that too, where people are like, where is especially the kids comedy show? Because one of the things at the location that you had it at was like there was stuff all the way down on one wing and stuff all the way down on the opposite wing. And so people were a little confused of like where to go and then how far down to go. Because like you said, the signage is huge, even though half the time people don't read signs either. But at least then you can say, go look at the sign, right? Like at least you can point them into a direction.
So like something that was like I mean, we didn't make the signs, but we were actually not allowed to put signs in the lobby anyways, which you would have to pass through the lobby to get to the kids' comedy show or get to the
Mhm.
celebrity photograph room. So I think it would have been kind of hard for people to find those two particular locations anyways, because we were not allowed to advertise or promote or have any signage in the lobby. But even still, if we had a sign somewhere at like where all the rest of the stuff was that says like go past the lobby to
Yeah.
get to, that would have been super helpful to people, I think. My
Yeah.
bad.
So other news is find a place that allows you to put up signs wherever you need to put up signs, because that's
Yeah.
not helpful. Like
Yeah.
there was so much going on, and it was so it was confusing of where we're supposed to be and when and like where stuff was. At what point did you realize, oh crap, like maybe this isn't going to turn out how I thought it was or was told it was going to be? Like when did you realize like, oh, tickets are being refunded, and we're not, are the attendance isn't going to be that high? When did you know that?
Yeah, so we actually weren't refunding tickets at by that point. Our website had always said non-refundable, right? But in October, when the hurricanes and stuff hit, we were refunding tickets at that point. But we still had a good chunk and hopefully more. And randomly we were getting like every day 1 to 5 more ticket sales every day the last month, right? So we were still thinking like we're growing and things are gonna go great. I feel like our award ceremony went pretty good, but I knew really early on that that was not going how I planned because I had planned enough spacing for 300 people to attend, and I think we had about 80 to 90 people in attendance. And so we didn't really sell tickets. Almost everybody who attended that came for free. There was like 4 or 5 people who paid for their partner to be there. And our plan with that, all the extra ticket sales we had planned was supposed to go to charity. So, I still, even though it's supposed to be our profits go to charity, but I felt so bad that we only have like $300 of anything, that we didn't even keep that. We ended up giving that to charity too, even though we were so in debt at that point. But so I knew pretty early on we were not selling tickets for that. The rest of the weekend, man, I think even we did our podcast live was one of the very first events, and we ran that late. I think we started that like an hour late or so because I was thinking people got to be coming.
They're going to show up. Yeah.
People are still, I mean, we had people who bought the VIP passes. They spent $700 to $900 depending on when they bought the pass and whatever. $700 to $900 on those tickets. And even those people weren't showing up. So it wasn't just people who spent, $5 to $15 on a ticket. It was people spending hundreds of dollars not showing up to our event. So in my brain, let's just hold off for a little bit longer. They got to be coming. Maybe they're lost, something. I was still delusional. They've got to be coming. They've got to be coming. Who spends that much money and doesn't show up?
Yeah.
It was wild to me. So I think I didn't realize probably until after our podcast that, man, this whole weekend is going to suck.
That like makes me kind of tear up because I just, when you work really hard at something and you like put everything you have into it, and I'm going to cry. I don't know why. I just feel so bad for you because I know what it's like to work so hard at something and then it doesn't turn out anywhere near you. Like there were some successes and I want to talk about those with you, but like, I mean, there were supposed to be thousands of people there, right? Like thousands of people. And it was so kind of sad to watch you throughout that weekend and just watch your decline of like, it just felt like you just wanted to go home. And I just like, it was so hard to be there and to watch. It really was like,
I did cry 2 separate times. Kyle saw, so people don't know I'm not a big crier again, unless it's like
I
a
am
kid.
though.
Animals getting
Yeah.
hurt, kids getting hurt breaks me. That's like the only things in life that make me cry. And I cried twice with Kyle present. Usually if I am going to cry, it's got to be like hidden where people can't see that I have that side of me. But Kyle was with me during one of them, and my my heart was breaking because we had vendors there who were selling their art. Some of them had spent months making, like we had a beadworker
Custom
there.
jewelry and like,
Yes. Oh, I even have it. She gave me a necklace. I have it, but I don't have it right now. But she gave me necklace and earrings, but I don't wear earrings. But I have a necklace that she made that was our wolf symbol and everything. And I just think of like I have arthritis in my hands real bad. And I just think like that had to be so painful. We had a knitter making like custom knitted stuffies and stuffed animals and things like that. And so many cute, amazing things. We had 3D printer artists and all these people spending hundreds, if not thousands of hours making their art for 2 people to buy stuff from them. It was kind of heartbreaking. We had some of our authors come in, spend all that money to fly in, bring their books and that kind of stuff in with them to have people probably not even check them out. And that was heartbreaking for me. I wasn't so focused on, oh, my festival's doing bad. I was so heartbroken that they gave their time for me and I failed them. That was my thing there. And the second time that I cried was a parent lectured me. A person wanted a refund for their tickets, and she kind of laid into me pretty hard. In the moment, the way I handled her, you would not think that I was crushed by her. You would think that I'm the toughest bitch you've ever met. But as soon as she walked away, there was like another parent who watched the whole thing, and they were like, that woman, they told me that like that woman was so out of line. And as soon as I felt like, oh, this parent's on my side, I just like let the tears fall. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry it's like this. But I think a lot of people who go to conventions and stuff, they don't realize how little time you actually get to spend with a celebrity or spend with an author and those kind of things. And the people who showed up, most of them were like, holy cow, I just spent 3 hours with a celebrity I really like, or, getting to talk one-on-one for more than 10 seconds. So I had most of the people who showed up. I think we really had maybe 50 people per day show up, a little less the second day. So maybe like 60 people on day 1, 50 on day 2. And I would say most of those people were very grateful and very like happy for the extra personalized attention that they got. There was no lines to wait in. There was no waiting for this, that, or the other. So I did break down a couple times, but not because the festival failed, but because I felt like I failed other people.
Yeah. Yeah. When it happens, when you then realize like there are 50 people here and there's supposed to be 5,000 people here. How do you work to make it? I mean, one of them you just said, automatically people are feeling more special because they get to spend more time with the authors and the people they want to meet. But how do you make it special then for the people who are there when it's not going how it's supposed to go?
Yeah, I mean, I met a lot of people. Like, I don't think had things gone the way I wanted, I don't think I would have been able to talk to a single guest. I really felt already so spread out and spread thin, even with how small the event turned out to be. But I really got to spend a lot of time meeting people, talking to them, figuring out how, like, what for them would make it better in this moment that's realistic. And only one person wanted a refund. And they didn't get it because they had used all the things that that their tickets were for. They stayed in the hotel. They did all the things. Had they not, I would have been, like, yeah, you're right. That sucks for you. But even people who spent the big money didn't ask for a refund. The people who didn't show up didn't ask me for a refund. So that's nice. But yeah, just talking to people, getting to know people, I think made me feel good a little bit, getting to see what they were hoping for and being like, oh, actually, we do have that and there's no line, or I'm going to do this thing for you because this thing didn't turn out the way you want. And I thought, I think about as a person who's been just attendee at other festivals, and I've never got that specialized treatment. So I hope that made people feel good. Like I said, I only had one person like really not be happy with things, which is kind of amazing to me. So
Yeah. Okay. What about some moments that made all of that worth it for you?
Man, so some of them are a little bit selfish, like, well, one, you and Kyle being there was, like, doing drugs for me. It was so great to actually meet you guys. I felt so high, like, when I first saw you and I'm, like, there at, like, 4 o'clock in the morning on day 1 or whatever, like, blowing balloons up or whatever I was doing, and I see you guys come down for breakfast or whatever it was, and I was just like, "My dreams are coming true." And it was really that was a real high for me. Another one, like, this is, again, nothing really to do with the festival, but my oldest son is autistic, and he is pretty low verbal. He can speak, but he doesn't speak much. And he's also very shy, but he's high functioning otherwise. But he uh, went up to Donovan Patton from Blue's Clues, played Joe's in Blue's Clues, plus so many other. He's got the Gabby Dollhouse movie coming out, and he's voiced a cat rat in there. He actually talked a lot with Donovan and asked Donovan if he could take a picture with him, even. And for me, I'm like, my I wasn't there when he asked for the picture, but I did see them talking a lot, and I was just like, oh my gosh, my son. I've never
Yeah.
seen this side of my son before. My husband was there when Logan asked Donovan for a picture, and my husband said he cried. My husband, like, texted me, and he was like, "I'm a crybaby right now," or, I'm he didn't say crybaby, it was like a ball baby or I was like, "What?" I was
Oh,
like, "What is" whatever he referred to himself as, I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm in tears right now. Logan just asked Donovan all by himself for a photo." And I was like, "Oh my god." And I missed that moment. Like, I wasn't there for that,
oh,
but it was, like, so pride inducing, nothing to do necessarily with the festival, but such a great moment for me. The awards ceremony was really great for me. I got so many hugs and talked to so many people. I was still spread so thin though, so I wish I got more time. Like, I wish we could have just had a 3-day ceremony of, like, no other stuff going on, just so I can actually talk with all the creators and people who traveled and, um, shared their artwork with me with our festival. I wish I had more one-on-one time with them, because that was really nice too. That was great. So some selfish moments for sure.
no, yeah, totally, totally. I wish would have happened is the awards were at the end. So like I could have seen the films first because
Mm,
we as hosts here, I don't get to see half of what we're talking about usually.
yes.
And so I have to fake it. Um and so it was cool to be able to see some of the things that um some of our guests have done, and then I felt like the awards were given out, and I didn't like I wasn't familiar with the work yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Our reasoning for that, because that's how we originally wanted to do it too. We had two main components as to why we couldn't do it that way. One was most people needed to catch an earlier flight
Yeah.
on Sunday. And the second was using that room for screenings and having to take all that stuff down to put up others, because there was like 300 seats, 300 or 400 seats for the screening in that room. But that was used for our ballroom as well. So having to get rid of all those seats, bring in tables, bring in new chairs, reset everything up wasn't cohesive. We couldn't
Yeah.
do that like in a nice flow. So otherwise, yeah, my goal in the future is definitely figure out how something is you get to see the films. You could be guessing. When we wanted to do the festival in the beginning, we actually wanted people to be able to vote fan favorites as well.
Yeah.
And if people can't see the film to vote for that, how are we supposed to award it? So we didn't get to do any fan favorites at all because people weren't getting to see the films yet. So in the future, that is definitely something I want to strive for in some way, shape, or form.
Well, we have 2.5 minutes left.
Oh, dang,
So
I talk so
I know
much.
we did. No, no, no. This is perfect because my final question is: let's talk about the future and what does that look like?
Oh, the future looks iffy. I'm not giving up. I've talked extensively with my husband about how, this did wipe out our savings. This did put a financial strain on us hardcore, but it is a passion of mine to help others grow. That's just my lifelong goal. whether it's with my trafficking work or film festival, giving people their voice, amplifying others' voices. I feel like I'm doing a greater good in this. And so we are continuing it as long as we're not going homeless. I will continue the best that I can. And this year, it looks like it's just going to be an award ceremony only, not a full festival weekend. But in the future, beyond that, we are hoping to do full festival weekend again once we get established better in the United States, maybe have a better following and more submissions and things like that where people are eager to be a part of us. Then we can do the full festival weekend. So we are growing and going forward. So
okay, good.
I hope that answered that.
Any final thoughts? And we're not doing it Easter weekend next year, right?
Definitely not Easter weekend.
We're going to do it on
Easter's
December
like in March
25th, I think, this
Yeah,
year.
it'll. What are you doing January 1st?
Nothing. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Stay organized. Ask for help when you need help. Don't be shy. Do a lot of research. Budget. Look into better places to spend your money. I put I put TV ads and stuff. Those led to nothing. So really research what is going to do best for your area and what your goal is. Research. You can't do enough research when you're about to spend your life savings.
And while you're researching, go to the website and submit your work so you can win awards and come to the award ceremony next year.
Yes. And I always hope that we can continue to do the award ceremony for free for our nominees and stuff. That is a goal of mine too. It's not a big thing, but having to pay to win an award seems ridiculous. Yeah. So that's a goal too, is to be able to financially contribute. But yeah, just love our festival. That's all. Can
we do a shout out, hopefully, or just cut this out, to who made the actual awards? Because they were really nice.
Oh, thank you. I did not think they were actually that nice, and I made them.
That's why you don't think they're nice, because you made them with a 3D printer or something.
No, it was hollowed resin, and it took me a long time. And maybe we have to cut this part out, but 2 from the same person who won 2 awards. Both theirs broke. But so that made me feel like extra, like, oh my gosh, what the heck? The inscriptions I did not make. I had those purchased from, I think the place is called like Carson Trophies or something, made the inscriptions for me. I bought bases and I 3D printed a wolf design, and then we turned that into a mold, which we turned into resin trophies. And then I made those. Yes. And we tested them even and tried to make sure they weren't breakable. And I guess we didn't test them properly.
People, write down to the damn awards Jacquelynn was making. Lesson learned. Don't do everything yourself, people. Get help.
Get help. But it was fun. It was another fun project for me to do. I bet you can buy them for cheaper than it costs to make them, though, also.
Yeah. So. Or just get someone else to make them.
Yeah.
That wraps up our 3-part series on what to do, what not to do when you have a media movie festival. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, Jacquelynn, for being so open and honest. I appreciate it.
No, thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for everybody who attended, and thank you, everybody who shared their work with us. It's just still feels like a little bit of a fever dream that we accomplished what we did accomplish. Yeah. And yeah, thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye. Wolf Media Festival Podcast with Richard Wilmore and Jacquelynn Wolfheart. Produced and edited by me. I'm Jacquelynn Wolfheart. Don't forget to check out the links in the description to find ways you can connect with our guests. Thanks for checking us out today and tuning in every week wherever you get your podcasts.